Hello, and welcome to Gateway Africa Magazine. I'm your host, David Limo, and today we will be discussing the origination of the Generation of African Intellectuals Trust, in short, GAIT. Now, Gateway Africa Magazine is actually a program that's facilitated by the Generation of African Intellectuals Trust, which advocates for social change in Africa and currently are based in Rundu, Namibia. Now, on today's show, we have the executive director of GATE, Mr. Maxwell Nghidinwa, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the organization, its vision, as well as the goals they hope to achieve in the coming year. Stay tuned. Greetings, Mr. Nghidinwa, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in terms of the inception of GATE, could you please tell us a bit more about how the organization came about to exist?
In 2008, I had an opportunity to go study in Egypt. I was going to study my BSc in agricultural science, and I was there. As I was there, we were a few of us from other African countries, and we just could not come together. And I remember there was a professor called Dr. Salah Suleiman who was part of the Alexandrina Bibliotheca. I think he was a director there, which is, I think, one of the biggest libraries in Africa, but it also has different facilities. One of it is auditoriums, and he was running a program called of League of Young Masters there for the Egyptian students in Alexandria. And he realized how Africans were not together, and he created a platform for us also called African League of Young Masters. I happened to participate in that program, and the program was quite simple. It's basically a program where us Africans, we could come, we present countries, the challenges that our leaders are facing, and it was very insightful, and it opened our eyes. We realized that we had a lot of similar challenges. And it was in the midst of these presentations that I actually started to realize that African League of Young Masters is always going to be a program that will be in Egypt, but it actually has the potential to be an organization that can actually intervene in African communities. And that is basically how it started. So I started to talk to my friends, and then from there we actually registered a Facebook account where most African students also joined. Started to have discussions on this Facebook group. In a nutshell, I think that's how it started.
All right. Uh, was it your idea, or who basically was involved in the beginning?
Well, David, I don't want to be cocky or anything, but yeah, I think I started with the first inception
Yeah.
where I started the idea, even the name of the organization, and but it was not me alone. I remember a good friend of mine, Zokira Landry from Burundi.
Uh-huh.
He encouraged me. He loved the idea. He started to actually visualize what the organization could look like, and but my then girlfriend, who is my wife now, she also contributed tremendously because she actually realized the potential for it to be an NGO.
Yeah.
And so in 2014, she finally convinced me. So when I came back from Egypt after my studies, we registered it as a trust at the Master of High Court in Namibia.
Right. Tell us what Gates' vision actually is and what you guys are trying to achieve.
Gates' vision is basically to establish a continental organization that develops African leaders who find innovative solutions to African problems. And in addition to that, we want to have an organization with teams in different countries
Yeah.
where these teams are solving problems in their countries, in their individual countries, but also we can actually recruit some of these team members to the different other countries if there are other problems, depending on the skills and qualifications available.
Right. Well, with every organization, there has to be beneficiaries.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that, who are they and what kind of services does the organization provide?
Well, our beneficiary uh, is quite a bit tricky when it comes to that word because our beneficiary actually depends on the advocacy that we are running.
Yeah.
So, for example, currently we're running the advocacy for access to quality education. So our beneficiaries range from students, parents, teachers, and even schools. So it depends basically on the advocacy and on the programs that we're running.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you said the organization started in 2014, yes?
The registration was in 2014, but
Okay.
the inception was seen, I think, 2012.
All right. Well, since then, any challenges that you guys have had as an organization, and how did you guys resolve them?
Oh, challenges are part of, I believe, challenges are part of any organization. And with our organization, four challenges which are noticeable since we started. The first one is leadership. We had trouble finding people who could be part of our leadership structure to steer and to lead the organization
Yeah.
towards the vision that we wanted.
Yeah.
I remember when we started, I was quite very young, and some of our team members were older than me and had more experience and qualifications, and it was very hard for me as a founder to actually influence them to buy into the vision, to buy into the mission.
Yeah.
So as the year progressed, you will find people with strong characters coming in, trying to overshadow the
Yeah.
vision and trying to change things. It was a learning process, especially with the leadership challenge, because in 2015, I then asked myself, "Am I capable to lead this organization?"
Yeah.
And I got an opportunity to participate in the Young African Leadership Initiative, which is YALI,
Yeah.
but the regional one. I think it's a program that was started by President Obama. And I went to Johannesburg, stayed there for 3 weeks in a civic leadership training course. And I must say that training was what I needed as a founder, and I think that was the turning point. And I can say with confidence that we haven't really resolved the leadership issue in our organization yet, but I think we have made some progress. The second challenge is fundraising. Fundraising has become, I believe, not only for us as an organization,
Yeah.
but I think also in the NGO space, there are many organizations struggling in Namibia to meet ends and also to have a positive impact or a larger impact in our communities. And I think it comes from in 2013 or 2014 when Namibia was labeled as a middle income country by the European countries. And since then, we have seen many donors pulling out and not sponsoring a lot of programs in Namibia.
All right.
Yeah.
So you don't fund your own projects out of your own pockets? Is it strictly from donors, or?
We do have crowdfunding
Yeah.
here and there where we actually call the communities. We give presentations about what we're trying to achieve, and so that they can see that these solutions that we're bringing are going to benefit them.
Yeah.
And it is not really very effective here in the north, because also you have a lot of low income people, and yeah, so it's not that easy as compared to when you're in Windhoek. But I think those are some of the fundraising methods that we use.
Right.
So it's both donors and crowdfunding.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in 2019, what can we expect from GAIT?
Well, I'm very excited, David. We have two programs that we are actually implementing, because the two programs have already started. The first one is the Young Namibian Leadership Initiative, or also known as YONALI, which is a mentorship program that will transform 180 mentees. We identified 3 schools that we're working with, and also with the support of the director of the education sector here the education ministry here in the Kavango East region.
Yeah.
We work together with these schools, where we go to these schools, we connect them with mentors, empower them with relevant information that can help them in their academics, career guidance. Also, we also address the issues of alcohol and drug abuse, and I'm very excited because the results of this program, even from the previous year, showed that it can actually help our youth here in the north. The second program is the basic computer literacy program, which identifies schools without computer labs. This year it's going with the theme ICT for her, so we are focusing more on empowering the young girl or the young girl child. We work with schools in rural Kavango East region that do not have computer labs. We bring the schools to a center here in Rundu, and we have facilitators who facilitate and teach them basic skills of computer. It's amazing, even when you look at Rundu, it's considered the second developed city in Namibia. But it will shock you that you can still find schools without computers and also learners who have never seen a computer. So these are some of the programs that we are doing this year and that we're excited for, and I hope you'll come around to the schools or to the center where the programs are taking place.
I just wanted to ask you on one of the programs that you talked about,
Yeah.
the basic computer literacy program.
Yes.
You noted that this year's theme was ICT for her.
Yes.
Although one could argue that in doing that, you're discriminating against bringing those same kind of services to boys. So why not include them as well?
Well, we did a research and we found that girls in rural areas tend to be more proactive in subjects such as home economics, and they tend to be less confident in subjects that, let me say, technological subjects such as ICT. And so this year we wanted to encourage them to be open to learn subjects such as ICT, and so that we also balance, because I think you may agree with me that boys are more inclined to to feel confident to use a computer or to use a mobile phone. So it's not discrimination per se. It's just that this year we wanted to empower and encourage our young girls in the rural areas.
But has the organization also catered for boys as well?
Yes, this program has run for 3 years, and in the past 3 years we had both gender represented in the program.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of our program, so any final thoughts that you'd like to share? Any important message that you might have for the youth?
Well, my only last word is that if you are a youth and you want to volunteer, or you want to be part of an organization that is run by youth like yourself, check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Like our work on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. The thing is, David, many young people also in Namibia do not know the value of volunteering. And I would just like to encourage you that if you're unemployed or you're a graduate and you're just at home, trust me, volunteering is one way you can gain a lot of skills. I've seen it in the past years that the volunteers that we've helped volunteers get jobs because of the skills that they've gained from our organization. So I would like to just encourage the youth out there, when you guys see our adverts being advertised on social media, or if you live in Rundu, on the different places that we usually put posters, come and check it out, try it out, and see. It might help you in terms of skills development and so forth.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Nghidinwa, and good luck with your future endeavors with GAIT.
Thank you very much, David. It was lovely to have me.
Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time, where we will be having more insightful talks about GAIT and its activities. Take care, and whoever you are, iron sharpens iron. Goodbye.